welcome back to another Saturday morning Tesla recap video. And here's what we're talking about today. Your Tesla watch can now be used as a phone key, not a Wi-Fi connected, but a Bluetooth phone key. We're going to talk about some great providers for that and how to do that. Did Tesla downgrade the brakes of the Performance Model Y and just not tell us about it? New information on the Model 3 and Model Y getting these stocks deleted. We're going to talk about how people are feeling right now with that price update and what has happened to Tesla since they have dropped the price of their most common vehicles, the Model 3 and the Model Y. And is it cheaper now to buy a used car over a new car? As well as a giveaway that's going on right now on the channel. We'll get to all that here in just a second. Okay, so first up, you can now use your Apple Watch as a key to your Tesla. And in the past, some of the most well-known apps out there have allowed you to unlock from your Apple Watch by tapping a button, but it was all done over Wi-Fi. It was waking up your car, and this whole process is all this waiting was going on. But now it's all changed. You can now use your Apple Watch as a Bluetooth connected device to get into your car. So if you've ever walked up to your car and had your phone in your back pocket but couldn't unlock the doors, had to turn your butt towards the door to get it open, those days are over. If you have your Apple Watch on you, you should have no problem getting into your car. So here's how it works. First, you're going to download one of the three apps we're going to talk about here in just a second. Next, you enable the Bluetooth on the device and sync it to the car as a Tesla key. In a recent tweet I posted the other day on Twitter, the response from most people were that they are absolutely loving this feature and they're very glad it finally came. So here are three great Apple Watch apps that you can use to actually do this. The first one is Watchla, which is a one-time fee of $5.99. Next is the Stats app, which the Stats app has a variety of different subscriptions, or you can pay for a lifetime license. But if you go monthly, you're at $4.99 for just your basic app, or annually at $49.99, or for a lifetime license of $109.99. And then there's the growing popular app called Watch for Tesla, which is a one-time fee of $19.99. Now, because I've gotten so many questions on this, I will be making a full video comparing these three different apps because I have all three of them, how they work, how you set them up, in case you're in the market of trying to figure that out. And I'll try to get that out next week. So if you're here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to go down below and subscribe for all new news updates, full self-driving videos, product reviews, giveaways, all of that. Next, this week I came across an article about Tesla downgrading the brakes in the Tesla Model Y performance model, but then covering it up with some sort of cover so it looks like it's still the same original performance brakes. Now, I really wanted more clarification on this from other people, so I did post a tweet out there, but I got almost no feedback. Of course, you would have to be in that niche that has a Performance Model Y who purchased it after August 22nd to see this. So I'm curious if any of you guys have any feedback on this, but let me tell you about what they're saying. So in a news article from Electric, they outlined how the Tesla Model Y performance has basically experienced some sort of a covering up, calling it deceptive. So now in the past, when you upgraded from the long-range Model Y to the Performance Model Y, you got some pretty neat things. One, it went a lot faster. That was pretty cool. You get a higher top speed, but arguably the most important part of that upgrade, the most distinctive thing, was that you got these higher performance brakes. When it comes to the motors, it actually has the same exact motors as a long-range all-wheel drive. It's just a matter of a software being a little bit different, opening up more power to the performance model. So yes, it's faster and all that, but it's not actually different hardware in the car. Now I should mention that the wheels are actually bigger in the long-range performance model, but to some people that's not exactly an upgrade. Just depends on the type of comfort you're going for. So a company called ZEV Centric, which makes Tesla accessory parts and specializes in things like brakes, are the ones that kind of found this. So a little bit of history on this. So the performance upgrade used to be a rear Brembo caliper and a 2mm thick rotor. In the front of the car, of the performance, was what's called a Mando brake, okay? But in the report by ZEV Centric, they say when they took it apart, and this was the model that was made after August 2022, they found that the rear Brembo was gone and it was replaced by a Mando brake, which had a cover over it to make it look still like the old Brembo. There was a comment on the story that said, before August 2022, the Model Y came with rear Brembo brakes. Model Y long range had smaller Mando. After August 2022, both the Model Y Performance and Model Y Long Range had the same brakes in the back. Now, the thing about this is, according to Tesla's website, nothing has changed. It still lists the performance models having performance brakes, despite the models coming out after August 22 having the same brakes in the front and the back, same as the Model Y Long Range. Now, I know very little about brakes, and I don't even know if this story, how much validity is to this story, so that's why I want you guys to kind of clarify some of this. But according to ZEV Centric, who are experts in brakes, they said that this is a significant downgrade. So comment down below if you verify this to be true, or if this is just one of those false stories out there, or some weird, unique situation that happened. Next up, the Tesla Model Y and 3 are most likely not going to be getting their stocks deleted. And of course, we're talking about the indicator stock and the gear stock, at least not anytime soon. Now, we live in a time where everything is about minimalizing. You see the Apple products, I've been using Apple's MacBook Pros and whatnot for years, and each year it seems like they're trying to make one that's thinner and smaller and lighter weight. And when you do that kind of thing, you start giving up on functionality. You start having to sacrifice in other areas, which is why the latest round of MacBook Pros now are thicker, they have a bigger battery, they're heavier, but they're more functional. They have the HDMI port is back and things of that nature. Well, I think the same kind of thing is going on internally here at Tesla. It's exciting to think about taking away everything, but eventually you start saying, well, is that truly what people want? And it appears that Tesla is thinking about this as well. So on the Ride the Lightning podcast, Franz, the chief designer at Tesla, said this about the stocks. I think there's things that we're looking at, so you know that those vehicles are great at what they do. And I think we haven't seen a need or demand for change, so don't fix what isn't broken. You know, that is kind of the mentality. You know, if you look at the Model 3 and Y as well on the road, they look great. They're super modern feeling. Why change? Why spoil that? And of course, this was in response to Franz being asked what's going to happen with the stocks on the Model 3 and Y. Personally, I think the Model 3 is plenty simplified as it is. You guys who have been around my channel know that I've installed a different screen behind my steering wheel because I like having a gauge up there. I know a lot of people feel differently about that, and that's perfectly fine, of course. But I personally do not feel like I want to have those stocks removed. That's just one more thing. Now, if they did it, no problem. I'll love it, and it'll be great. Figure it out, of course. But I am curious what you guys think about that. Do you actually want your stocks removed? Do you believe in what Franz is saying? Hey, it's not broke, don't fix it. That seems to be the mentality at Tesla anyway. Now, as you guys know, over a week ago, Tesla dropped the price of their Model 3 and Ys down over 20% in some cases. Some people are very much unhappy about this. Others see it a little differently. The response is really quite mixed. I've gotten hundreds of responses from people saying they feel like they've lost $20,000 in value literally overnight in their cars, and if they ever wanted to sell it, well, they're not going to be able to. I've also had a lot of people telling me that Elon should have thrown in some sort of incentive for this as a oops, sorry type of thing, like maybe throwing in the full self-drive beta for those people who haven't paid the $15,000 for it, or provide free supercharging or something to maybe make the slam not so hard. And I get that. I get the feeling of oh my gosh, I just bought this car, I'm so excited, and all of a sudden, by the way, we're going to take $20,000 of your value away. I get that. It's even if you don't want to feel that way, even if you understand economics and that prices cycle, even if you get all of that, you can't help but feel like crap when that happens. Even though I get that prices go up and down, even though I get why Tesla did it, and I maybe even believe they should have done it, it still sucks. And it just sucks if you're one of the ones that had to happen. I totally get that. Now, there's people on the other side of that say, hey, suck it up, Buttercup. I've had a lot of people comment, hey, prices go up, prices go down. I've had other people on the other side of that argument challenge saying, hey, if you bought a car and then the next day you gained $20,000 of equity, do you think Tesla should have to pay $20,000 to the people who yesterday sold their car for $20,000 less? So there's people on both sides of this aisle. They all have arguments. People feel the way they feel for a reason, and they're all probably justified. So then the question comes up, are we ever going to see Tesla prices going back up to that price that they were at? Is there just a matter of waiting, and then those who bought it, maybe a year ago or 6 months ago, are they going to then see some of that $20,000 recovered? Well, Doug Merlot has something to say about this. Now, if you don't know who Doug Merlot is, he's a bit of a celebrity in the car reviewing world. They tear apart cars and they know a lot about, well, everything to do with vehicles. Doug Merlot also runs an auction, a big online auction, auctioning off cars, and listen to what he has to say about all this. So he said, the crazy high prices we've seen over the last 18 months for Teslas, they're gone and they're not coming back. There is no question about that. So, I mean, he doesn't obviously have all the answers, but he probably has a pretty good idea. Now, remember I said he runs an auction? Here's what he said about his auction pricing. He said, as a result, a 2021 Tesla Model 3 Performance with 27,000 miles could still exchange hands on his platform for $56,000 only a month ago. This represented a discount of just over a tenth off the then $62,990 price for a brand new vehicle. Okay, so that was before the drop. By comparison, a couple of days ago, after Tesla cut the entry point for that model to $53,990, Merlot said, Cars and Bids, which is his auction business, listed a 2022 version with only 3,700 miles on the odometer. The highest offer in the auction topped out at a mere $48,250, and the sale as a result didn't go through. So already we're starting to see different cases where people can't sell a car for what they owe on it. So what has happened at Tesla then since these price cuts? Well, apparently Tesla is experiencing a ton of demand here in the United States, which was one of the main reasons for this price cut. Most agreed that the price cuts were due to Tesla wanting to increase demand, and well, it appears to be working. Many stores in North America have reached new sales records in a single week. The inventory is also decreasing at a record pace, which is something that we haven't seen in quite some time. According to Electric, as far as new orders, Tesla will start running out of the new build slots in North American markets in the next few days, which usually doesn't happen till later on in the quarter. And we're seeing a lot of this reflected in Tesla's price as we've watched their stock pretty much go up gradually ever since that price cut. Now, one result from all of this is that the used car market for Teslas is now in a complete free fall. Up until this price cut, you could go out there and buy a used car for almost the same exact price as a new car, and people were willing to pay for it because they didn't want to wait the 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15 months to get their car. We waited 14 months to get my Model Y, but since this happened, all of a sudden now all these used cars are starting to stabilize. I mean, it's not normal to have a used car sell for the same price as a new car, so I call it stabilizing back to where maybe they should have been. But I wonder if there are some scenarios out there where new cars are actually cheaper than used cars. New cars, you get a $7,500 credit, whereas a used car, it's $4,000 credit. Of course, the problem with that is going to be that for you to get that credit of $4,000 on a used vehicle, not only does your income have to be at that certain level, but you have to have a car which is worth less than $25,000. And Teslas are still a pretty far stretch away from that. Now on to the full self-drive and autopilot updates. What's happened in this last week? Well, we do have some new updates coming out. Most of us on the full self-drive beta are on the 2022.44.30.5, but there are some that are on the 2022.44.30.10 that are out there right now. So you might have seen some of the videos out on that. And the current non-full self-drive beta is they're starting to come out at the 2022.44.30.1 as well, but the average person is still on the 44.25.3. Now this week on the full self-drive testing, I started off in an elementary school and worked my way all the way home. It was incredible. The drive started off having to go through stop signs, roundabouts, dealing with crosswalks, people, get itself onto a freeway, merging onto a highway, then back onto main arterials. So the car went through full self-drive, went through navigate and autopilot, and just regular auto steer. Went through all the different parts of it on this drive. It was very incredible. The entire drive, there wasn't a single time when I had to interact with the vehicle, which is over 35 miles. It was absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't seen that video already, I'll put it down in the description of this video. Go down and watch it. Also, if you guys like getting free things, we did a review this week on a foldable table by TeamMe, and if you go and watch that video, comment down below and follow me on Twitter. All you have to do is comment down there that, hey, I want one, and I will enter you into the drawing to win one of these things, and then TeamMe will send them out to you. They're absolutely incredible. I use them all the time for working inside of my car. They're much better than the steering wheel table, in my opinion, so go check those out. So that's going to wrap it up for this week, you guys. I hope you had a great week. Take a second and comment down below your thoughts on what we talked about today. Hit this like if you liked the video. Hit dislike if you didn't like it, and who freaking cares anyway, because no one sees those anymore. And I'll see you guys on the next video.